Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Just Force 911, where we look at how our public officials do their job or they don't, which is normal. I I have a short story that I'm going to talk about. It is a white officer who pulls over a black judge, does not believe that she is a judge, rifles through her car without her permission, and then decides to arrest her. Luckily, she gets off a phone call to a friend who shows up and explains to the officer that he's about to make a mistake. At that point, the judge sets up with the police chief on how to change the views of her officers. It's a female police chief. And then the judge goes and starts making law or getting with lawmakers to change laws. Kind of the same thing that we're trying to do here, just a little bit differently. And keep in mind, guys, that, nobody's perfect, and I get that, including me. We have a violation of the oath of office by a public official should be a felony. That would be one step. Getting rid of this thin blue line, desecration of flag gang, is another. This blue shield is another one. Equality for police officers, private citizens, and all of us that are United States American citizens need to come together and fix this problem. And it can be fixed, guys. It really can. Is it going to be easy? No, but then again, what is? Nothing we do anymore is easy. It's the time we live in. Now, I'm not going to make a great big speech here because I'd like to get on with the video. So, do me a favor, subscribe, hit the like button, the share, and the thumbs up or thumbs down. Let me know how you guys, if you like this or not. Hit the bell icon so you have notified when we put out another video. But definitely subscribe. I am 312 subscribers away from being fully monetized. I was told that once I hit 500 that I was good. That was semi-correct. You are, but you're not. It's kind of like being sort of pregnant. No, in all good humor. What it is you can start the wheel moving at 500, but you don't become fully monetized till you hit 1,000 subscribers, which is what I'm trying to hit. And I need your guys' help. I cannot do this by myself. All right. And I truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys helping me out. You guys got me almost to 700 within a month and 2 weeks. That's crazy. I was told when I first started this, get set because it's going to be 3 months before you get any subscribers, before you get anybody coming back to view you, before you get anybody even talk to you. Will be 3 months, 90 days. And I'm going, okay. And boom, the cannon goes off. Hey, I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But check this video out, see if you guys like it, and we'll talk again after the video, and you tell me what you guys think. Here we go.
White police officer stops a black judge, accusing her of stealing the car she drives. Judge Vanessa Reynolds was a woman who had fought her way to the top. Born and raised in a modest neighborhood full of black people, she had faced her share of challenges, but she never let them define her. After years of hard work and dedication, she became one of the youngest judges in the state, known for her fairness, integrity, and unwavering commitment to justice. Her position was a testament to her resilience, and she wore her title with pride. On a crisp fall morning, Vanessa was on her way to the courthouse. She drove her sleek black Mercedes, a car she had bought as a symbol of her success, down the three-line streets of an upscale neighborhood. Her mind was on the cases she would be hearing that day, particularly one involving police misconduct that had garnered significant media attention. It was a case that hit close to home for Vanessa, who had seen firsthand the impact of systemic racism in the justice system. As she drove, Vanessa noticed a police car in her rearview mirror. The car was following her closely, its lights flashing. Confused, she glanced at her speedometer. She wasn't speeding, and she hadn't violated any traffic laws. She frowned, but decided to pull over to the side of the road, hoping it was just a routine stop. Officer James Lawson, a white police officer with over a decade on the force, approached her car. He was known for his no-nonsense attitude and strict adherence to the rules. As he walked toward the car, he adjusted his utility belt, his hand resting casually on his holster. Vanessa rolled down her window, her calm demeanor hiding the irritation she felt at being pulled over without cause. "License and registration?" Officer Lawson demanded, his tone authoritative and impersonal. Vanessa reached into her glove compartment and handed over the documents without a word. She watched as Lawson examined them, his brow furrowing as he looked from the documents to her and then back again. "This your car?" he asked, his voice laced with suspicion. "Yes, it is," Vanessa replied, keeping her tone even. She had been in situations like this before, being questioned simply because of the color of her skin, but she knew better than to let her emotions show. Lawson raised an eyebrow, clearly not convinced. "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" Vanessa felt a flicker of anger, but kept her composure. "I'm on my way to work," she said, meeting his gaze directly. "I'm a judge, and I have a case to preside over this morning." Lawson's eyes narrowed as he looked her over, his doubt evident. "A judge, huh? You expect me to believe that?" Vanessa's heart rate quickened, but she maintained her calm exterior. "I have my courthouse ID in my bag if you need further proof," she offered. "I'll need you to step out of the car," Lawson ordered, ignoring her offer. Vanessa hesitated. She knew her rights, and she knew that she had done nothing wrong, but she also knew that refusing could escalate the situation. Reluctantly, she unbuckled her seatbelt and stepped out of the car, keeping her hands visible. As she stood by the side of the road, Lawson began to search her car without her permission. He rifled through her belongings, tossing her neatly organized files onto the passenger seat, scattering them carelessly. Vanessa watched, her anger growing with each passing moment. She was being treated like a criminal, and she knew exactly why. "Is this really necessary, officer?" she asked, her voice steady but firm. Lawson didn't respond. He continued his search, opening the trunk and rummaging through it as well. Finally, after finding nothing, he straightened up and looked at her with a smug expression. "I'm taking you down to the station," he said. "We'll sort this out there." Vanessa felt a surge of indignation. She'd done everything by the book, and yet she was being treated as if she had stolen her own car. She took a deep breath, trying to keep her emotions in check. "This is outrageous," she said, her voice trembling with controlled anger. "You have no reason to take me to the station. I've done nothing wrong." Lawson shrugged, clearly enjoying the power he held in the situation. "We'll see about that." As Lawson reached for his radio to call for backup, Vanessa made a decision. She reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone, dialing a number quickly. She spoke quietly, her eyes never leaving Lawson's, and then hung up. "What's that supposed to do?" Lawson sneered. Vanessa didn't answer. Instead, she stood tall, her dignity intact, despite the humiliating situation. She knew she had done nothing wrong, and she was determined to see this through. Within minutes, another car pulled up to the scene. It was an unmarked vehicle, and a man in a sharp suit stepped out. He walked over to Vanessa, his expression serious. "Judge Reynolds," he said, his tone respectful, "is everything all right here?" Lawson looked confused as the man approached. "Who are you?" demanded. The man flashed a badge. "I'm Assistant District Attorney Michael Turner. Judge Reynolds is a close colleague of mine. Is there a problem, officer?" Lawson's face drained of color as he realized the gravity of his mistake. I didn't know who she was," he stammered, suddenly unsure of himself. Turner's expression hardened. "And that excuses your behavior? You searched her car without consent, detained her without cause, and now you're planning to take her to the station? I suggest you think very carefully about your next move, officer." Lawson's confidence evaporated as he realized the situation had spiraled out of control. He'd crossed a line, and there was no going back. Stammering apologies, he handed Vanessa's documents back to her, his hands shaking. I'm I'm sorry, Judge Reynolds, he mumbled, avoiding her gaze. Vanessa took her documents, her expression unreadable. You'll be hearing from my office, Officer Lawson, she said calmly before turning to Turner. Thank you, Michael. Turner nodded, watching as Lawson slunk back to his patrol car. Vanessa got back into her Mercedes, her hands trembling slightly as she started the engine. She drove away, her mind racing with a mixture of emotions, anger, frustration, and a deep sense of injustice. When she arrived at the courthouse, Vanessa went straight to her chambers. She closed the door behind her and sat down at her desk, trying to process what had just happened. She had faced discrimination before, but this felt different. She was a judge, a person who had dedicated her life to upholding the law, and yet she had been treated as if she were a common criminal. But Vanessa knew that this wasn't just about her. It was about the countless others who faced similar treatment, who didn't have the power or the platform to fight back. She had a responsibility to use her position to make a difference, to ensure that what had happened didn't happen to anybody else. She picked up the phone and called her assistant. I need you to schedule a meeting with the chief of police, she said, and get me the contact information for Officer Lawson's supervisor. We need to address this immediately. Vanessa spent the rest of the day preparing for her cases, but her mind kept drifting back to the encounter with Lawson. She knew she couldn't let this go. As a judge, she had the power to hold people accountable, and she intended to do just that. The next morning, Vanessa met with the chief of police, a no-nonsense woman named Margaret Davis. Chief Davis listened intently as Vanessa recounted the events of the previous day, her expression growing more serious with each detail. This is unacceptable, Davis said finally, her tone firm. I will personally oversee the investigation into Officer Lawson's conduct. Rest assured, Judge Reynolds, this will be dealt with swiftly and appropriately. Vanessa nodded, appreciating Davis's commitment to address the issue. Thank you, Chief. I understand that this is a systemic problem, but I'm not interested in just punishing one officer. I want to work with you to ensure this doesn't happen to anyone else. Chief Davis looked at Vanessa with respect. I agree. Let's use this as an opportunity to implement real change. Over the next few weeks, Vanessa and Chief Davis worked closely together. They launched a series of training programs for the police department, focusing on bias, cultural sensitivity, and the proper protocol during traffic stops. Officer Lawson was placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, and Vanessa was kept informed every step of the way. But Vanessa didn't stop there. She knew that true change required more than just addressing individual incidents. She began advocating for broader reforms within the justice system, using her experience as a catalyst for a larger movement. She spoke at community forums, met with lawmakers, and pushed for legislation that would hold law enforcement accountable for discriminatory practices. The case involving police misconduct that had been on her mind the day of the stop took on a new significance. Vanessa presided over it with renewed determination, ensuring that justice was served and that the officers involved were held accountable. The case garnered national attention, and Vanessa became a symbol of the fight for equality within the justice system. As for Officer Lawson, the investigation revealed a pattern of similar behavior in his past. He was eventually dismissed from the force, a decision that was met with both support and criticism. Vanessa knew that his firing was only a small victory in the larger battle, but it was a step in the right direction. Months later, as Vanessa sat in her chambers reviewing case files, she received a letter. It was from Officer Lawson. She hesitated for a moment before opening it, unsure of what to expect. The letter was handwritten, the penmanship neat but slightly shaky. Vanessa began to read. Judge Reynolds, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I felt I had to write to you. I've spent the last few months reflecting on what happened that day and the decisions I've made throughout my career. I know that I was wrong. Wrong not just in how I treated you, but in how I've approached my job for years. I've been in law enforcement for over a decade, and I thought I understood what it meant to protect and serve. But I see now that I've been doing more harm than good. I've let biases cloud my judgment, and I've acted out of arrogance rather than duty. I can't undo the damage I've caused, but I want you to know that I'm committed to changing. Losing my job was a wake-up call, one that I desperately needed. I've started volunteering at a community center that helps at-risk youth, many of whom have had negative experiences with police. I'm learning a lot from them, and it's humbling to see the impact that my actions and the actions of others like me have had on their lives. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know that what I did was wrong, and I have to live with that. But I want you to know that I'm trying to be better. Your courage and composure during our encounter made me realize that I've been on the wrong path, and for that I'm grateful. Sincerely, James Lawson. Vanessa sat back in her chair, the letter resting on her lap. She hadn't expected this. Officer Lawson's apology, though belated, felt genuine. It was clear that he was struggling with the consequences of his actions, and while she wasn't sure what to make of it, she appreciated his willingness to acknowledge his mistakes. She thought about the countless others who had been mistreated by law enforcement, people who didn't have the power or platform to fight back like she did. She knew that change wouldn't happen overnight, but if someone like Lawson could recognize the need for it, then perhaps there was hope. Vanessa folded the letter and placed it in her desk drawer. She wasn't sure what the future held for James Lawson, but she hoped he would stay true to his word and continue to seek redemption. In the meantime, she had work to do, cases to preside over, reforms to push for, and a justice system to help reshape. That evening, as Vanessa drove home, she reflected on her journey. The road had been long and fraught with challenges, but she knew she was on the right path. She had fought hard to get where she was, and she wasn't about to let anyone take that from her. She had the power to make a difference, and she intended to use it. As she pulled into her driveway, Vanessa felt a sense of peace. The events of that fateful day had set off a chain reaction, one that she hoped would lead to meaningful change. She couldn't control the actions of others, but she could control her response to them. And in that, she found strength. The next day, Vanessa returned to the courthouse with renewed determination. She knew there would be more challenges ahead, more battles to fight, but she was ready. She was a judge, a guardian of justice, and she wouldn't rest until the system she served was one that treated everyone with the fairness and respect they deserved. As she took her seat on the bench, gavel in hand, Vanessa felt a deep sense of purpose. She was where she was meant to be, and she would continue to fight for the justice that so many had been denied for far too long. And with each case, each ruling, she would make it clear discrimination had no place in her courtroom or in the world she was working to build.
Okay, everybody. So, what did you guys think about that? Put in the comments down below what you think. Subscribe to my channel if you would, please. Hit the like button. Thumbs up or thumbs down. The fight that we are in against the negativity of bad policing, we can overcome as a group, as a society. Those that are in the higher ups know there's a problem, but yet don't know how to fix it as well as we do not. So we can start taking small steps to get our public officials back where they belong, doing their job and doing it to the best of their ability, which is what we hired them to do. I advocate that those out there who would like to help, please get involved with your police departments, your sheriff's departments, your city councils. Talk to your mayor, talk to your chief, talk to your sheriff. Not all these people are going to be good people. Telling you that up front. There's a lot of bad apples out there, but we have a lot of people who are not bad apples. They're good people and actually want to hear from us. If they're doing good, let them know they're doing good. If they're not, hold them accountable. That's what we do. A violation of oath of office by a public official should be a crime, a felony, because they took an oath to it and they're not abiding by it. We're not holding them accountable. That needs to change. And as a society and as citizens of the United States of America, we can make a change. And no, I am not running for president. But thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe and let me know what you guys think. Great, have a great and wonderful and safe day.